Today, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk announced the reconstruction of his coalition government.
Są takie momenty w historii każdego kraju, że trzeba ogarnąć się.
Reconstructing the government was a decision largely made in the wake of Poland's 2025 presidential elections, in which the candidate from Tusk's own party, the Civic Platform, was defeated by Karol Nawrocki, an independent candidate backed and endorsed by Law and Justice, the primary opposition party. Tusk's government came to power in late 2023, ending 8 years of government by Law and Justice. Tusk campaigned in the 2023 parliamentary elections on a platform of reform, and one of his main campaign slogans translated roughly as 100 concrete things in 100 days, which meant 100 specific reforms to be introduced within the 100 days of his government taking power.
Jestem od wielu lat politykiem, jestem sportowcem. Nigdy w życiu nie byłem tak szczęśliwy z tego niby drugiego miejsca. Wygrała Polska, wygrała demokracja.
However, once Tusk and his coalition government took power, his numerous campaign promises failed to materialise. What's worse, Tusk was at the centre of numerous scandals, such as the forceful seizure of Poland's public television, as well as numerous sightings of illegal migrants being dropped off on the Polish side of the Polish-German border, activity which took place with Tusk's government apparent tacit approval. As such, the presidential election on the 1st of June became a sort of informal referendum of approval on Tusk's government, which he ultimately failed. In order to keep up appearances, Tusk first announced a confidence vote, which he passed, and then announced the restructuring of his government. After some delays, it was finally announced today.
To nie jest zabieg reklamowy, zmiana rządu. Ja nie jestem tutaj też od tego, żeby kogoś pocieszać.
Will this restructuring really change anything? Voters and MPs remained sceptical. This newly rebuilt government retains the same poor reputation Tusk's coalition has had so far, and it will take much to shake that stigma.
Patrzę w ogóle na tę rekonstrukcję, to mam poczucie, że zajmujemy się czymś, czym nie ma treści, bo mamy kryzys zdrowotny, o tym powiedziałem przed chwilą. Jest też kryzys mieszkaniowy, realny kryzys mieszkaniowy, który dotyka młodego pokolenia.
The efficacy of Tusk's new government remains to be seen. If it doesn't transcend the reputation it has previously earned of being lazy, inefficient, corrupt, and in some cases engaging in petty tyranny, Tusk will be in trouble come the parliamentary elections in 2027, or potentially earlier.
Committee on Foreign Relations will come to order. We have business today.
The Senate Foreign Relations Committee and hearings of candidates to be appointed United States ambassadors. Among them is Tom Rose, whom President Donald Trump sees as ambassador to Poland. Listen to how beautifully the candidate for this important role speaks about our homeland.
The relationship between the United States and Poland is built on shared values, liberty, sovereignty, and the unbreakable bonds of faith, family, and freedom. From the Polish patriots who fought alongside our founding fathers, to the untold millions of Polish Americans who've enriched every aspect of American life, our alliance is forged in centuries of mutual respect. No American admires Poland's proud and heroic history more keenly than President Donald Trump.
Tom Rose assures us that Poland is much more than an ally.
Poland is family, standing not merely at the crossroads of Europe and the guardian of NATO's eastern flank, she's leading Europe's growing resolve to confront aggression.
What is emphasized is the word he used when talking about Poland, that it is not only a partner or ally, but also a family that pursues certain values and missions, a country that is key to the whole security puzzle. So taking this all together, the position of the ambassador himself and the mission he has to fulfill and how he approaches it, I think it looks quite positive and, above all, one can use the term healthy.
Very close personal friend.
Tom Rose is a tough and uncompromising defender of conservative values, but also of historical truth, and even though he himself is an Orthodox Jew, he strongly opposes blaming Poland for the murder of Jews during World War II, as he made clear during yesterday's Senate hearing.
Poland was not a perpetrator of the Holocaust. Poland was a victim of the Holocaust. The Polish people, the Polish army, the Polish state, the 22 countries that Nazi Germany either occupied or co-opted through puppet regimes, the only one that was conquered and never surrendered
The ambassador's words should be heard in Europe, the United States, and Israel.
3 million Jews were murdered in Poland, that it was somehow Poland's responsibility. It was the Nazis, it was the Germans, it was their auxiliaries. Israelis need to better understand that. Poles, I think, need to better understand Israeli sensitivities.
I think he's one of the few Orthodox Jews who say that Poland was not the creator of the Holocaust, but a victim of the Holocaust. It was not the creator, as many Jews say, or as American left-wing or German left-wing propaganda tries, to blame Poland for the crimes of World War II. These are very valuable words. This was Thomas Rose's response to Donald Tusk's suggestion that the Israeli Prime Minister, who was to attend the 80th anniversary of the liberation of German Auschwitz camp, might be arrested. Donald Tusk, be careful, threatening to arrest Prime Minister of the Jewish state at Auschwitz, of all places, is not unnoticed by the USA. Poland deserves better. At the same time, he thanked the Polish president for strongly opposing this. Congratulations to Andrzej Duda for preventing a rift in US-Polish relations and standing up for Poland by convincing Donald Tusk to reverse this terrible decision. The new United States ambassador also stands up for freedom of speech. Among other things, he strongly condemned the takeover of public media by Donald Tusk's powerful people in the December 13th coalition. I am curious as to how the New York Times, which spent 8 years inveighing against the threats to democracy posed by Law and Justice's alleged control of the media, will find a way to spin this grotesque act as yet another move to restore democracy in Donald Tusk's Poland. He said that, and he is not ashamed of his post concerning threats to freedom of speech from Tusk's government. He is simply a well-known figure on the American right who has always been a strong and vocal advocate of freedom of speech. He is on the front lines of a battle that has been going on for many years to ensure that there is, let's call it, balanced media in the United States, and that the mainstream left-wing media does not dominate. The future ambassador also appreciated how, above and beyond divisions, Poles helped real refugees in their hour of need, Ukrainian women and children attacked by criminal Russia.
More than 1 million Ukrainians have been granted refugee status inside Poland. More than 9 million Ukrainians have facilitated their transit out of Ukraine through Poland. Poland is our staging area, not simply for the U.S. support, but for all of NATO's support.
Tom Rose is also watching the political situation in Poland and awaiting the inauguration of Karol Nawrocki, the president elected by the Polish people.
As you know, on August 6th, there'll be a new president inaugurated in Poland. If there's one country in Europe where America doesn't have a problem, it's Poland.
The Senate approved Tom Rose as ambassador. The remaining formalities include a meeting with Donald Trump and the presentation of the nomination.
So rock solid.
Journalist and businessman, defender of freedom of speech and of conservative values, patriot and great friend of Poland. This is the future ambassador of the United States, for whom we are already waiting.
A wave of outrage and protests in the country and in the West. The first warnings of severe political consequences. The Ukrainian parliament voted, and President Zelensky signed a law under which 2 anti-corruption agencies will lose their independence. The fight against corruption was supposed to be the main condition for Kyiv's talks with Brussels on possible membership in the European Union. Now, according to experts, Ukraine's path to Europe may be significantly lengthened. Kyiv has not seen this in a long time. Anti-government protests on Maidan. Despite the ongoing massive campaign of Russian attacks on Ukrainian cities, thousands of people took to the streets of the capital to express their opposition to the controversial law. I was under Russian occupation. I know what it means when one person has all the power, when nothing is transparent and everything works against you. That's why it hurts. I don't want it to be the same here. The bill tightens political oversight of Ukraine's National Anti-Corruption Bureau and Special Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office, 2 bodies that were supposed to fight corruption independently of the government. Now they will be subject to the Prosecutor General, who is appointed by the president.
after the Revolution of Dignity, the Euromaidan protests in 2014. And so these are institutions that were part of that generation of reformers that were very keen to move Ukraine towards an irreversible pro-European, Euro-Atlantic integration.
The Prosecutor General assures that his supervision of anti-corruption bodies will not affect ongoing proceedings. However, as analysts point out, this may change when politicians associated with the prosecutor or the government itself come under scrutiny. President Trump and the U.S. administration are well aware of the serious irregularities in the accounting of various defense projects in previous conflicts, whether in Iraq or Afghanistan, so the Americans will certainly keep a close eye on the situation to ensure that such serious irregularities do not recur during the ongoing conflict in Ukraine.
And the President of the European Commission to come to the stage.
It is difficult to say what Volodymyr Zelensky's goal is in such a strong centralization of power, while issues related to the military, internal security, and the economy can be explained by wartime conditions. Issues related to corruption, including that in the wartime background, are, according to commentators, a step towards dictatorship. Given the ongoing round of negotiations with the Kremlin in Istanbul, social unrest against the Ukrainian authorities is the last thing Ukrainian President Zelensky and his entourage need today. This is all the more so because in the face of anti-government protests, it is difficult not to assume that Moscow will try to take advantage of the situation.
Traditional farming methods often involve evenly fertilizing entire fields, but robotics combined with 5G networks enables precision in cultivating individual plants, using costly resources only where they are needed.
There's such huge possibilities of where automation and robotics comes into the farming and agricultural settings. And what we're also looking at is around multiple robot communication, so along fleet management. So imagine you're in a field and you see one robot going out, surveying the area, mapping it out. It then communicates to another robot.
Robots can take care of sowing, weeding, and planting crops. And this is just the beginning of the development of advanced technology in the service of farmers.
Opportunity for this type of technology in agriculture and horticulture would actually be in soft fruit and vegetables, where the capability for investment is there. Everything's very uniform in terms of the way things are done, and the robots can be easily adapted to it. A bigger challenge is to adapt towards the open field agriculture in terms of cereals and potatoes, but we're making steps in the right direction now.
Robots using video recognition and artificial intelligence will be able to detect problems such as plant diseases, pests, drought threats, and flooding, all at an early stage.